Hello, my name is Paige Eplin, and I've conducted this research with Drs. Matthew Foster and Sara Smith. Thank you for listening to our presentation of the home numeracy and home literacy environment, verbal ability, and executive functioning, describing early numeracy and literacy. The home numeracy environment and the home literacy environment imply family engagement in activities that employ early number concepts and language, respectively. Within each of these categories, some researchers have differentiated between formal activities and informal activities to discover how they may predict early numeracy performance. Formal home numeracy activities require written symbolic understanding of number concepts, such as printing numbers, whereas informal home numeracy activities require mental mapping and knowledge, like playing linear board games. Similarly, formal home literacy activities are code-based, for example, identifying sounds of the alphabet, whilst informal home literacy activities are meaning-based, like shared storybook reading. Additionally, executive functioning and linguistic abilities are known to be associated with early math and literacy performance. Because few studies have examined both the formal and the informal home numeracy and home literacy environments and their association with early numeracy and literacy performance, this is what we seek to examine with the following research questions. 1. Does the formal and informal home numeracy and literacy environment, verbal ability, and executive functioning predict numeracy and literacy when controlling for participant age and socioeconomic status? And 2. Is the prediction of numeracy and literacy from the home numeracy and literacy environment, verbal ability, and executive functioning stronger for dual language learners, that is, children from homes in which a language other than English is primarily used, relative to monolingual English speakers? We assessed 32 kindergarten and 25 first grade students at one time point in the fall of 2019. We created a subgroup of 8 dual language learners matched with 8 monolingual learners from within classroom on standardized numeracy scores, gender, and age. We measured verbal ability, numeracy, and literacy with these test batteries. We measured the home numeracy and home literacy environments with parent-reported questionnaires, and we measured executive functioning with the teacher-reported BASC-3 ages 6 to 11. Here are some descriptive statistics for each of these variables. And here are the correlations among all the variables. For our analytic approach, with regression analyses, we first examined the prediction of numeracy and literacy scores from the formal and informal home numeracy environment, the formal and informal home literacy environment, verbal ability, and executive functioning individually. Second, we took variables that were significantly related to each outcome and examined them together in multiple regression models. Third, and finally, we further examined these relationships among the subgroup of 8 dual language learners against 8 monolingual learners. Verbal ability, executive functioning, and the formal home numeracy and literacy environments were statistically significant predictors of numeracy scores when considered in isolation. Collectively, they accounted for 42 to 47% of the variance in numeracy scores. These variables collectively accounted for 60 to 98.8% of the variance in numeracy scores for the DLLs, but only 20 to 60% of the variance in numeracy scores for the monolinguals. Formal home numeracy and literacy environments, as well as verbal ability, were statistically significant predictors of literacy when considered individually. Collectively, these accounted for 28% of the variance in reading comprehension. Among the subgroup comparisons, these predictors accounted for similar amounts of variance, 75.2% in DLLs and 80.3% in monolinguals' reading comprehension scores. Our findings support claims in prior research that the home environment is strongly associated to early numeracy and literacy performance. Specifically, formal activities appear to be more strongly associated with numeracy and literacy performance. Thus, teachers may benefit from communicating with parents regarding the types of numeracy and literacy activities that they conduct at home with their learners. And school personnel could benefit from considering the extent to which math tests include verbally formatted items, because verbal ability appears to be more strongly associated to math performance in dual language learners than in monolingual learners. Thank you.